Guys, I'm coming in Cannock Chase, and this tree right here is Groot or Treebeard, whichever way you want to put it. Anyway, either or. Right, I'm going to drop the location of this one, as I always do, unless it's an health and safety concern. So any of the abandoned buildings, please don't ask for the locations. I do work in health and safety, so it wouldn't be responsible of me to share them. But a couple of key points to take note on before you do come here, if you come here. 1, try your hardest not to tread around the bottom of the tree because the roots are starting to become exposed. 2, don't be an idiot, mate. Don't start climbing it or anything like that. And 3, don't be a dickhead, man. Like, unfortunately, we all have to share this world as a fucking society, don't we? Do you know what I mean? Oh, God. Fuck. Did you see that? Jesus Christ, I felt like going to my fucking brain, man. Oh, Jesus. Fuck me. I'm having absolutely fucking no luck today. Oh, it's a fucking joke, innit? I'm never coming back to Cannock Chase, so I ain't after today. Honest, I'm going to go and film every video I need of Cannock Chase, which I've probably filmed 1,000 times already, so realistically I didn't have to come back. So I was on the car park just getting all my cameras and shit together, like, and fucking that's really rattled my brain, as. It's worried me because I feel like it's still in my head. Yeah, anyway, I was just on the car park getting all my camera stuff together, and then this woman's come out of one of the gates. A dog looks like it's having the whale of a time, do you know what I mean? And I goes, oh, it's alright. I said, he's really friendly, he's just bouncy, like. And she's fucking kicked off, saying that's like a dog wearing on a lead or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, Buddy was just being a fucking 20-month-old Labrador, playing with a dog, like. Anyway, after that, I've said, I've gone like, oh, fucking, I think you're overreacting, mate. This way, buds. Well, I had no idea where I got to in that intro then. I forgot where I was, but I just started, if the two guys that I was just talking to, the bloke and the woman, I'm not going to say where you were from or anything like that because I feel like something might be going on. But if you're watching this video, just know that I appreciate you. I really needed that. I did really need that. Yeah, anyway, I can't remember where I got to. Basically, yeah, don't be a dickhead around the tree, man. I'm probably going to get a load of shite as well in the comments saying, no, you shouldn't give the location out. Look, it's for the law to come down hard on them, and it's not for me to police the fucking activities of idiots. Do you know what I mean? Personally, and I've always been of the same opinion, I think nature should be there for everyone to enjoy. Just because one person wants to be a dickhead, that doesn't mean everyone else should miss out, do you know what I mean? And another thing as well, the location of this tree. So the first time I came to visit or look at this tree was about 7 years ago. Now I found the location of this tree online. So this information, the information that I put up in the descriptions, it's just freely available everywhere anyway, do you know what I mean? I'm not the first person to put the location. The Birmingham Mail have even done a story on this tree that tells you where it is. So, yeah, if you want to start whinging in the comments about giving location of the tree out, fuck off, mate. I don't want to hear it, seriously. I honestly have not got the fucking patience for people today. Bumped into a bloody idiot on the car park, didn't I? Which was quite funny in all fairness, because I swear to God, she's called me a nerd. She went, you nerd. I thought, fucking nerd? Honestly, I felt 10 foot tall when she called me a nerd. I've never ever, not once, been called a nerd in my life, do you know what I mean? I thought, I'm fucking taking that. I might even put it on my CV, mate. So, fair play to you. Guys, I'm currently in Cannock Chase, and this right here is the ENT, fucking Treebeard, Groot, fucking whatever you want to call it. Either way, let's get into it. If you come out onto the chase, not far from the stepping stones, there's a tree that stops people in their tracks. Not because it blends in with everything else around it, but because it really doesn't. When you first see it, it looks nothing like another old oak, because the bark twists in a way that almost looks like a face with a beard, with branches that could easily be seen as arms and legs. It even has a kind of expression that just looks natural, and once you've seen it, you can never unsee it. It's Treebeard. It's the kind of thing that makes you pause for a second longer than you expected to, because even if you know exactly what you're looking at, there's still something about it that doesn't quite sit right in the best possible way. This tree over time has become linked to Treebeard, one of the oldest and most distinctive characters from Lord of the Rings. And over time, the idea has grown that maybe this landscape, and possibly even trees like this one, played a part in shaping how that character was imagined. What we do know for certain is that Tolkien spent time right here on Cannock Chase during the First World War, where he was stationed between 1915 and 1916 as part of his training with the Staffordshire Regiment, living amongst the vast military camps that once covered areas around Brockton and Rugeley as thousands of soldiers prepared to be sent out to the front. At that time, this place would have felt very different, because instead of the quiet paths and open woodland you see today, there were huts, rail lines, marching men and a constant sense of movement.
as training went on day after day in the shadow of what was coming next, which for Tolkien meant eventual deployment to the Battle of the Somme. Yet despite all of that change, the landscape itself has remained surprisingly consistent. Could this be the tree that Tolkien took his inspiration behind Treebeard from? Because the valleys, the streams, and most importantly the trees would have been the same as there was then. The same views and the same atmosphere would have surrounded him at the time. Tolkien later spoke about how the places he had known influenced his writing, and Cannock Chase is one of the few locations he directly connected to his work, particularly when it comes to the idea behind the two towers, making that link between this landscape and Middle-earth something that is grounded in fact rather than speculation. Where things become less certain but arguably more interesting is when you start to look at how the smaller details of a place like this might have filtered into his imagination. Because characters like Treebeard, who are ancient, watchful and completely tied to the natural world, feel like they belong in environments exactly like this one, where the woodland isn't uniform or controlled, but shapes slowly over time into something more unpredictable. Standing in front of this tree, it's not difficult to see how an image like this could stay with someone, especially someone like Tolkien, who had a way of noticing patterns and personalities in both language and landscape, and who often drew from real places when building the deeper layers of this world. There's no written record that confirms he stood at this exact spot, and there's nothing that proves this particular tree directly inspired Treebeard, so that part sits firmly in the realm of local belief rather than documented history, but at the same time it exists alongside something much more solid, which is the fact that he was here, he walked these woods, and he experienced this landscape during a period of his life that would go on to shape much of what he later created. So when people say that somewhere on Cannock Chase is a tree that looks like Treebeard, and that it might have played some small part in the idea behind one of Middle-earth's most recognisable figures, it's not something that can be proven outright, but it's also not something that could be dismissed. And in a setting like this, where the line between the natural world and the stories we attach to it can feel surprisingly thin, that uncertainty is often what makes it work. Because whether or not this tree has anything to do with Tolkien's writing, it still manages to do exactly what those stories were always meant to do, which is to make you stop, take a second look, and start to wonder if there might be something going on here than first meets the eye. So what do you think, gang? Fact or fiction?